I know, but you're considering that consistency there, right? So again, that's the challenge there, isn't it? Because most of us are wired to think in terms of how do we talk about the worth that we feel in ourselves and what we're contributing back, especially as human beings, in a way that's consistent across the board. Is it really based on what we're able to accomplish, or is there something else that we should be aiming for in our consideration?
You know, I just feel like I've never. It's like an interview I'm not prepared for. That's a feeling, but you've made it so clear that I don't need to perform, right? So
right,
it's not
absolutely.
a bad thing.
And I'm happy about that. Good.
And that's actually what. Okay, I'm getting distracted.
That's okay.
I'm gonna go on this tangent.
Yes.
I just feel like this is what sets you apart from a lot of the other like Uber drivers or people that I've talked to that are very wise like you. They tend to like push this sort of ideal like religion or so and so, right? And it's like, but you like take your time to ask me like what I'm comfortable with, like you say, oh, if this offends you, whatever, then let me know. I think that's something you're doing very, very well.
Thank you.
And what sets you apart from the rest.
Thank you. That's
I just
very
felt the need
kind.
to remark on that.
I appreciate that.
And I'm sorry, I forgot
That's okay.
where we were going before that.
That's okay. We're talking about worth and how we determine worth, especially by way of our identity.
Oh yes, when I said that, it felt like an interview I wasn't prepared for. Because these are things that it's just such. It takes a lot of mental energy, wisdom to come up with that kind of question. I feel like people don't really think that way in daily life, and so yeah, I really appreciate being asked these questions that I've never heard before.
I asked them especially just because I know you much better than I do when we first met, which is fantastic. It's almost like a gift that's being shared where you're saying, I'll give you a little bit more about me that you did not know before, but that was voluntarily and spontaneously and unchoreographed, given, offered, saying, here's a little bit more, and there's a two-way street there, you know more about me. And,
camera in 300 meters.
but even in your present course, I'm not sure when we'll see each other again kind of thing, but more along the lines of, if I can encourage you along the way in your track that you're on, from my frame of experience that I've had, one of the things I often think about is how can I take it a little to the next level with an individual to serve them in their future. So here you are in the midst of your studies, and what might it look like in your course of study when you are able to get to the point of saying, okay, it's going to be challenging, it's going to be very competitive, etc., but here's what I could take away so that I end up in a good place as you're in the midst of those challenging circumstances. You're going to be trying to get a good mark, you're going to try and get a good job, all these kind of things, pressures in life, right? But most of us fall into the trap of saying we have an ebb and flow, up and down, in the way we feel about ourselves based on what we accomplish, based on what we become. And the question I usually find helpful to ask is, if I were to remove all those things that I do well in and all those things that I really suck at, because it goes two ways. For example, here I am as an Uber driver. I'm doing the best I can as an Uber driver, and I really appreciate what I've been able to do. But even though I am doing really well and I get affirmed for it, I don't let that touch my worth. And that's a really tricky thing, because if I were to say, hey, I feel really great about myself because I'm an Uber driver that's amazing, what happens when I become have a terrible experience? My sense of worth plummets, when in reality it shouldn't have been even touched in the first place to my worth, because my worth is always there as a human being. And so for me, personally, how I'd be answering that question is, my sense of worth, my identity, is nothing in comparison to what I can or can't do, but more specifically, how I'm able to see myself as a human being. And as a human being, there's that inherent worth that will never be able to be assailed, because at the very heart of it, I am trying to make my way forward. And for all of our mutual experience as human beings, it's especially on the part where it never had to do with what we can or can't do, but more so on who we are by essence of our identity as a human being. That's the big thing. Does that make sense? So you could become an amazing engineer, or you could be someone who's terrible or whatever else. If you keep that away from your worth, you'll be able to go through life a lot more in that zone of competence and saying, hey, I got this together, not because of what I can or can't do, my worth is always there because I'm a human being. This covers everyone. That's what I found helpful.
Oh.
Yeah, so consider that. And hopefully that will serve you well too, like especially as you
Definitely.
go forward in your
You know,
studies.
I'm constantly surrounded by people that base their worth on grades and all of that. Like, hey, like I got an 80, good for you. I'm so glad that you're happy about yourself, right? But at the same time, it's like, oh, hi, sir.
Yeah.
I may have chosen to go here at the wrong time.
That's okay. This is the Olympic Plaza right here.
Yes.
That road is usually open, but I might just only be able to pull over here on this side here. But if you just walk like towards that little green barricade over there, there'll be steps that lead you down there.
Yes.
I have really enjoyed this.
I have really enjoyed this and needed
Oh,
this.
I was going to leave you my card.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Please do.
that way you can keep in touch. And I've got new cards coming along the way, but we'll use this one here for now. If you search for my last name here, Binyam Astris, and I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and on YouTube as well, you'll be able to see some of the things I do. And I think, yeah, our conversation will really serve my followers in a really helpful way as well. Just because, yeah, a lot of them are young guys like you.
Right.
A lot of them are young guys. So I think the questions you're asking is, yeah, we need to talk on some really important things. So that's me.
It is my pleasure.
Nice to meet you as well, Halley. I hope we do have the pleasure again, though.
Yes. Hopefully, I get to see you again.
And that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Well, you got a way to, just like I say, the best way, send me a message. Sometimes I'm in the middle of a ride or elsewhere, but I'm quite active on those platforms there. And yeah, you're more than welcome to follow along and participate. I'll be like, guys, this is the guy that we had a great conversation. So yeah, it would be my pleasure for sure.
Okay, I just gotta
I'm
get
almost
back.
excited for, your experience skating now, though.
This is an interesting time to pick.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
There's a lot going on here. I'm not sure what it's about, though.
I don't know.
Denounce
check
hate
it out.
groups.
Black Lives Matter, yes.
Okay.
Hate speech is not welcome.
Okay.
Yes. But I feel like it's two different groups that are
Ah.
like fighting. Oof,
Oh,
man.
I see.
Interesting time.
Hence why the police presence here. That makes sense.
Ooh, that conflict. I can feel the aura. Okay, well, I guess I'll be headed out now. This has been a very interesting time.
Nice to
Just
meet you,
know
brother.
I am changed.
Oh my goodness, I'm glad.
Yes, thank
Hopefully for the better.
Bye.
Goodbye, Howie. How good? Well, that was fantastic. Was it, guys? I hope you enjoyed that.